Welcome back. The Oscar-winning film The Danish Girl was released and shown in movie theatres in India last year. But when it comes to screening the film on television, our Central Board of Film Certification has banned it. Why? Because they say it deals with the very sensitive topic of a man who undergoes a sex change operation to become a woman. How prudish can our censor board get? Here's the story. We are coming back for our debate.
Pehlaj Nihalani is at it again. In the crosshairs of the censor board chief, this time round is the Oscar-nominated and critically acclaimed 2015 film The Danish Girl. The movie, which tells the story of a man who undergoes a sex change surgery, was scheduled to premiere tonight on the movie channel Sony Le Plex. But this morning, the channel tweeted to say it was unable to air the much-anticipated film as they had not received the necessary certification because our Sanskari censor board felt the film wasn't fit to be aired on Indian television.
CBFC has cancelled the scheduled telecast of Oscar-nominated movie The Danish Girl. Whole movie whose topic revolves around a man who undergoes sex change to become a woman. Over here is CBFC, who terms the topic of the movie as sensitive and controversial and unsuitable for children to view.
She opposition me. She seemed so sure.
I was sure.
A board member has been quoted as saying,
"The whole subject is controversial and it's unsuitable to be viewed by children. It talks about a man who wants a sex change and has a genital operation to become a woman. The subject is sensitive, and how do you edit a subject like that? We are a multicultural nation and we have to maintain a balance. What may be suitable for a metropolis may not be suitable for a small village."
it's a decision that's left scores of people disappointed, even angry. They ask, just when will the board stop with its moral policing and actually start doing its job, which is to just certify and not censor or block a film? In a digital age when children can easily access online all kinds of content, including pornography, does the censor board actually think it can act as a TV nanny for our children? More significantly, what's wrong with watching a film that deals with the sensitive issue of alternate sexuality? This at a time when comedy shows with cross-dressing protagonists are amongst the most popular shows on Indian television. But is anyone really surprised by this decision, given the track record of our notorious censor board with Pehlaj Nihalani at its helm? Sample this. Just recently, the board refused to certify Lipstick Under My Burqa. Its argument? The film is lady-oriented. Car Bodyscapes faced the fury of the censor board, which felt the film glorified gay relationships. The makers of the just-released Filori were told they would have to delete a scene where a character recited the Hanuman Chalisa. And who can forget the censor board's epic war with the makers of Urta Punjab, who were ordered to make 108 cuts and even drop the word Punjab from the title, or the instance when the board wanted Indian audiences to watch a sanskari version of James Bond. And as the censor board sparks yet another debate with another whimsical decision, the biggest question is, whatever happened to the recommendations of the Sham-Benegal Committee, which was appointed by the government to lay down some broad guidelines for the Film Certification Board? And is the government at all serious about implementing those recommendations, or will they remain buried in a file in some dusty corner of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry's office, even as the Sanskari Board continues with its scissor-happy ways? With Urvashi Khona in Mumbai, Bureau Report, NewsX.
The Oscar-winning film The Danish Girl was released and shown in movie theatres in India last year. But when it comes to screening the film on television, our Central Board of Film Certification has banned it. Why? Because they say it deals with a very sensitive topic of a man who undergoes a sex change operation to become a woman. How prudish can our censor board get? We have with us T.S. Nagabhama, member of the Central Board of Film Certification, joining us from Bengaluru. Shashi Bhushan, human rights lawyer with the NAS Foundation, joining us from Delhi. Naveen Chomal is a lawyer joining us from Mumbai. Mayank Shekhar, film critic, is also in Mumbai. And Alec Padamsi, theatre personality, is joining us from Mumbai as well. Naveen Chomal, the film is about the world's first sex reassignment surgery. the Central Board of Film Certification, the CBFC, says, oh, you know, this is a very sensitive topic. Why? I mean, how is this unsuitable for broadcast on television?
Sir, the reason is very clear and simple.
Yes.
First of all, even for theatrical exhibition of that particular movie, they had granted a certificate. That means the movie can be watched, but after attaining a certain age and maturity by the people. So for theatre, it is permissible that certain people who are above the age of 18, who are adults, who are mature enough to understand the topic, they can go and watch. But if you air it on the television, there is a lot of possibility that even small children will be watching the movie.
No, Mr. Chomal, which is not correct. You know that A certificate films
capacity is still not
are also
developed.
broadcast
There
on
is not
television,
matured.
but late night.
So that is why the
Late
CBFC is
night.
very much right.
When
It is
children
dark.
are in bed by
That
then,
It is not
Mr.
suitable
Chomal.
for the children to watch that particular movie.
Mr. Chomal, first of all, this is to do the world's first sex reassignment surgery. It's actually educative. It's like a documentary.
No, please appreciate, sir. Of course, there is always two sides of the argument. But the main thing that the topic is very sensitive and a very delicate topic.
What is
which
sensitive
the
about it,
mind
Mr.
of the child
Chomal?
should not be subjected
Sex
to.
alteration
Because
and
the
sex reassignment
adolescent age
is
of
not
children
happening in
too
India, Mr.
raw.
Chomal.
They are too immature to understand.
Mr. Chomal,
so there is a possibility
sex alteration
that,
and
the child
reassignment
may
is not
start
happening in
harboring
India?
some unwanted
Mr.
facts.
Chomal, you don't see
No,
eunuchs,
please appreciate-
you don't
no,
see
this
eunuchs
is
on
a
our
matter of
traffic
personal
lights,
choice of a
in our
matured
parks.
person.
Mr.
So
Chomal,
if the
Mr.
person who
Chomal,
is adult,
Mr.
who
Chomal,
he can take a rational thinking,
Mr.
he can take his
Chomal,
own
Mr.
decision.
Chomal,
But
when
if the
you-
children are subjected
Mr.
to that
Chomal,
and they start indulging in certain irrational
Chomal,
so if the
Mr.
person
Chomal,
who is adult,
Mr.
he
Chomal,
can take a rational thinking, he
Mr.
can take his
Chomal,
own
Mr.
decision.
Chomal,
But
when
if the
you-
children are subjected
Mr.
to that
Chomal,
and they start indulging in certain irrational thoughts,
Mr.
it will
Chomal,
not be good for the health of the society.
Mr. Chomal, when you go with your children in a car, don't you see eunuchs? And aren't your children seeing eunuchs in traffic lights? Don't we see eunuchs in parks? Don't they come to our homes during births and marriages? But sex reassignment is so sensitive for us.
See, definitely they are saying the eunuchs on the road also.
Yes.
But their approach about the eunuchs is just that there are some people on the road. But if
What do you
are
mean some
showing
people
it in a
on the
movie,
roads?
The impact of movie is altogether different. And then the theme is that a person who is a man, he is feeling that he is not a man, there is a woman within him, and he is undergoing a sex change operation.
Yeah.
So
Shashi
there is a
Bhushan.
possibility that the boys and girls who are not
Shashi
matured
Bhushan,
enough,
what do you want to
they-
say to
they
Naveen
despite
Chomal?
not being transgenders, may start feeling about themselves. They might nurture some very improper ideas.
Shashi
So
Bhushan
I
will
would
respond.
love
to say something to Naveen Chomal.
Yes.
Honestly.
And they can watch the movie in
All
the
right,
theater.
all right, Naveen Chomal, Shashi Bhushan wants to respond to you.
Yes. All right. First of all, I think it's really, really important to educate our children. Like you said, if you go in a car with your children and your children, they ask many questions, and how can you avoid those questions? I think it's a kind of educating people. If we screen those kind of movies on Indian national television, it should be considered as a part of education, I think, nothing more than that. Now you say it's a very sensitive issue. Yes, it is a sensitive issue, and we need to address these kind of issues also, and I think this is the right time. You know, first of all, we say, oh, there should be sex education in the schools, in the colleges, universities. And if we say that, why not? Sexual reassignment surgery is happening very much in India. In my office at the NAS Foundation, I have many friends who have undergone this surgery, and I can easily introduce to my nephew, to my niece, and I can definitely tell them up to some extent. Means it's not I go into the details or anything, but I think it's a blunder if you stop those kind of screenings. It's not a good thing. It's not a step forward to educate Indian society, educate Indian children.
I want
Mr.
to reply. I
Naveen,
want to
I'm
reply.
really sorry. Your lame excuses to not to. Okay, right.
Yeah, but
First
Mr.
listen to
Chomal,
me. I
Mr.
would
Mr.
love to listen
Chomal,
to your reply
Mr.
also,
Chomal,
but listen
Mr.
to
Chomal,
me.
you are saying
it's such a shame
that sex
when-
reassignment is a sensitive topic. We agree with you. But you know that the censor board member has today been quoted in the Mumbai Mirror saying that this film, in fact, sensitively portrays the dilemma of a person who wants a sex change. In other words, the CBFC members admitting that the film is dealing with a sensitive issue in a sensitive way. And by the way, the film has won an Oscar as well and been nominated for 3 more.
Sir, please appreciate first thing that merely winning Oscar is on a total different criteria for granting Oscar awards. And as your channel has been projecting also that they won the prize of Oscar for the costume designing and other things. But ultimately, it is not for the theme or it is not for the message that it is conveying to the society. So secondly, please appreciate that India, we have to take the
one at a time, please, one at a time, but we can't hear any of you.
Telecasted on the television, all sections of the society will be watching. So we cannot confine it to the minuscule minority of what Mr. Shashi Bhushan is saying, that he is forward and
Alec Padamsee.
But we have to
all right, let me go to Mr. Alec Padamsee now.
In the rural villages also.
Well, all section of society, they need to know this. All section of society, that's what our intention is, and that's the intention of the director of the movie, the producer of the movie, is that everybody should watch it.
Them know
we need to educate not a certain section of society, but we need to educate.
All right, let's bring in the other guests into the debate as well now. Mr. Chomal and Shashi Bhushan, please hold your horses. We've got 3 more guests. Alec Padamsee, the Central Board of Film Certification, says that sex reassignment is too sensitive a topic, for this film, and therefore we can't show it on television. What do you say to this, Alec?
If the film is in English, then I feel that English is spoken in all the metropolitan cities, and it's fine. But if it's in Hindi, yes, there may be a problem, but I still think that our audiences now, if there's an explanation before the film, what is a sex reassignment operation, then I think the more people that understand the world is changing, it's important that they should see it, but I believe with an explanation.
Well, Mayank Shekhar, the censor board says that the Danish Girl cannot be shown on television, but the same film was certified for release without cuts in theatres last year. I mean, how interesting is that?
Well, I think firstly, the television industry does not come under the ambit of the censor board. It has its own body that sort of regulates content there. One stipulation that does exist is that films that have a UA certificate can play on Indian television, and therefore it can be viewed by practically everyone. It's a very common practice for a lot of films that have gotten A certificate for theatrical release, get a UA certificate for television, and it happens, practically every other week, and the censor board is supposed to do that. Now, if thematically they have a problem with something, and they can have a problem with anything thematically, and therefore they will not give a certificate below A, and therefore they cannot be played on television, and suddenly the censor board now enters the domain of television also. And this censor board in particular, I think 2 years back is when it was formed under Mr. Pehlaj Nihalani, and initially we were all aghast by their excessive interference with creative content, but now it's reached a level of absurdity. It's become a theatre of the absurd. I mean, every week, every other day, you come across all kinds of cuts that are demanded. In one movie, they cut the name Amitabh Bachchan and Amrish Puri because it would hurt sentiments. In another movie recently, there's a character who says, "Kya main apni man ki baat kahun?" And say, "No, you can't say man ki baat because it's the Prime Minister's radio program." So it's just becoming absurd on a daily basis.
Let me go at this point to Mr. Nagabhama because he's a member of the Central Board of Film Certification. Mr. Nagabhama, is the censor board becoming a bit, excessive and a bit, in a situation like this, why can't the board, if it's about the world's first sex reassignment surgery, I think it actually sounds educative. Why can't you give it a UA certificate, release it on television, and let it be aired late evening, say at 11 p.m., if you don't want children to watch it?
I just want to update my friends around there that how many UA educative films are shown in which channel. Because absolutely the education part of it is not worked out in the channel at all. what type of education, you keep the sex education apart.
Let's talk about this
you
film.
Think of other
Let's talk
education
about this film,
also.
Mr.
How much of
Nagabarna.
that time has been
Why
utilized
can't
in
it
the
be aired
television?
at 11 p.m. on television?
Okay.
When children are in bed.
Okay, come to this film now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't think children are, they will not be asleep. They will see the film also even at 11 o'clock if they want to. First thing is, what you say
if children
about this
want,
ban, there
if
is no
children
ban.
want, the mouse
Because
is there,
censor
the
board has
internet.
not banned it.
24/7 they can see anything, they can see pornography also, and here you people are coming in, you're supposed to be the board of film certification, and you're becoming, you know, rather than
They don't
films.
sleep early nowadays.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
It is been certified whether it is UA or A. That's all. You have to change your attitudes towards television. They must also screen A if they want to. They must change their rules and regulations. So it is left to them to decide.
Mr. Shashi Bhushan, you want to
can't
respond
say
to
that,
him?
you have to give UA or A because the censor board according to the rules.
All right, Shashi Bhushan to Mr.
Tell
Nagabarna.
me, pardon?
I just want to say something here, sir. Okay, right. All right, okay. When it comes to giving a certificate to a film, I can understand. I don't know the technicalities of those things, but my thing is that children, don't they have access to the internet? Don't they have access to YouTube? And also means it's not like they see everything. We have Discovery Channel, we have Animal Planet Channel, we have so many channels where they see those kind of things, how a birth takes place in the animal thing, and sex reassignment surgery. I think it is something which you can consider it like a very sensitive topic, but if the children, they know it, I think it's going to be beneficial for them. They can talk on it, they can discuss things on it, because also I think it's always, I think it's going to be beneficial for them. They can talk on it, they can discuss things on it, because also I think it's always, it has been always case of one step forward, two steps back.
All right.
When it especially comes to LGBTQ community, any transgender, anybody who wants to go for SRS surgery, why people make such a hue and cry? If someone makes a documentary, a film, to educate people on that, I don't think there should be any binary.
All right,
It should be
very
something
quick
like
response
that.
from
I
Mr.
think
Nagabarna.
that's
Mr.
really, really
Nagabarna, we're
important.
running out of time. Quick response to that from you, please.
Yeah. Now, since you are coming through, the censors, then you need it. If you are making it a program in television, saying that this is about transgender, we are making such and such a educative this thing for a program for you, it will not come under us. When it came through the censors, automatically the rules and regulations according to that, it has to be taken.
You know, on this film, A
Nothing more
Danish
than
Girl,
that.
you know, one
I
other
think
thing that the
nowhere,
Central Board of
our
Film
censor
Certification
people
has
or-
said,
I have not seen the paper.
and let me put this to
Then-
Mr. Alec
then
Padamsee.
why don't we make rules flexible
All right,
accordingly?
Mr. Alec
Then we should
Padamsee,
change
running out of
the
time.
rules.
1 second.
I think
Mr.
it's
Alec
time to
Padamsee,
change the rules, then we
Alec.
need to make rules flexible and accordingly.
All right.
That's it.
Alec Padamsee, the Central Board of Film Certification, has also said about this film that, you know, what may be suitable to a metropolis may not be suitable to a small village. What do you think of this argument, Alec?
I think it's a good subject, and it's time that even our villagers understood what sex reassignment. After all, they are not so dumb. If they explain to them what it means, then they can take their own decision. But I think banning a film without explaining what is the subject matter is wrong. So I would not agree with the authorities to ban the film.
Mayank Shekhar, how much is the censor board out of touch and over prudish?
No, absolutely. I think the statement that you just read out in terms of what they believe to be a metropolis audience and a village folk, I think that condescending attitude towards the audience and the intelligence in general is what we've been witnessing for the past many months now. I think that the belief that the audience is stupid, that they are above everyone else, those 4 or 5 people who sit there and keep cutting scenes, keep cutting references to all kinds of things, or believe that a film like Danish Girl, which is picked up the Oscar and, well, someone pointed out for costume, not the film itself, but I mean, that is part of the film. And it should not be watched by Indians, and certainly not watched by Indians.
I think it's the best supporting actress.
I think this level, this condescending attitude is worrisome for any society.
Yeah, but Mayank, let me also ask you, I mean, the Central Board of Film Certification is the Board of Film Certification. But, you know, often we find they're censoring. Should they simply certify? Or should they be going into this realm of censorship also?
No, absolutely. I mean, yes, you know, it was called the Censor Board until the 70s, when the name was changed to make it the Central Board of Film Certification, which practically makes their job pretty simple in terms of whether this should be watched by kids or not watched by kids. Whereas suddenly, you know, because the same rules exist and it's open to interpretation, it depends on who's heading that particular board, because you can technically even ban Tom and Jerry if you feel like, with the same guidelines given to you. So I think there's some, we have a regressive person at the top, and it sort of flows from there, and therefore you just keep running stories after stories about things being cut, whereas that's really not the job of the CBFC. Somebody needs to tell them, somebody needs to pull them up. The court has in the past, and I think they need to learn a lesson and at least go back to the court and just see, because at the end of the day, all these movies get passed by the court. So clearly, there's something wrong with the way they've chosen to do this job. And you know, I think the government needs to step in at some point and certainly look into the Shyam Benegal committee report too, which was submitted to the previous INB minister and is sitting with the current one. So you know, I think there is huge scope for an overhaul here, for a rethink, and I'm amazed that it hasn't happened yet.
All right, we'll leave it over there. Run out of time. But thank you very much to all our guests for joining us on this debate. And thank you very much for watching as well. Bye-bye.